Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. 'Tis the season that December's here with all the festivities and all the hot chocolate and all the cozy blankets and also all the Christmas books. Now, don't judge what I'm wearing. I know I'm wearing dark blue, but probably in the camera it'll show up as black. I might not be wearing the Christmas spirited clothes, but I will be talking about some of the books Christmas-wise that I do plan on reading for the month of December. Not only am I talking about Christmas books, I'll be talking about, in general, my December TBR. Before we get into the video, if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. That way you never miss another one of my videos. So my December TBR is filled with a few holiday books, mostly holiday romance books, steamy holiday romance books, if I have to clarify, and one dark romance, and the rest are going to be fantasy romance or romanticies. I'm very excited about the books that I have in front of me because at least two of these books are winter-esque themed or are books that I've learned that are better read in the month of December. Okay, so let's start off with the holiday themed Christmas books. Now, I'm just going to talk about the books that I physically have with me. There are 2 to 3 books on top of this stack that are holiday themed that I don't have with me. I'll just keep them as a surprise and I'll talk about them during my December wrap up. The first book that I want to read on my Kindle would have to be this short and sweet little novella by Lauren Asher. And when I heard that she came out with this year, I think, I was so excited because if you know Lauren Asher, you know that her books have really great banter, they have really great steamy scenes, and I know that this one is going to be no different. My December Darling by Lauren Asher. Now, this one is a small town Christmas novella, which is pretty much all I know. I don't know if I want to read into it because it's a little short novella. It's only 252 pages. Actually, that's not that short. Anyways, it's 252 pages and all I know about it again is that it's a small town Christmas novella. My December Darling is a Christmas themed romance between a grumpy maid of honor and an outgoing best man who chases after what he wants. That's pretty much all I need to know. I think it's going to be fun because again, it's grumpy sunshine and I'm pretty sure the guy is going to be a golden retriever and I'm pretty sure there's going to be very, very good banter and we love that. The next book that I want to talk about, I think it also came out this year. A lot of people rave about it and that is My Favorite Holiday by Lauren Blakely. This is billionaire Christmas themed work romance between a woman and her billionaire boss. And they fake date. What more can you ask for? It says, wanted, one hot billionaire, pose as my Christmas boyfriend. So it's fake dating, hot boss, hot billionaire boss. They attend all the Christmas activities together. What more can you want? Must be willing to make a cheating ex jealous when you kiss me under the mistletoe at the holiday parties. Bonus points if you make him cry. Oh my gosh! To my surprise, my billionaire boss is more than up to the challenge of coming down the chimney as my holiday boyfriend. The sexy single dad desperately needs a +1 at a Christmas Eve wedding. I had no idea he was a single dad. That's awesome. Where he's the best man and I'm the maid of honor. And since my ex is in the wedding party too, my boss and I team up as a pair of insta lovebirds for a holiday season, including during the annual week-long Christmas competition leading up to the snowy destination wedding. But soon, staying up late to string the best popcorn balls ever turns into a scorching night in his arms where the chestnuts aren't the only thing roasting on an open fire. You guys have heard this is so freaking steamy. Can this winter wonderland seeking revenge turn into a real thing when we return to the office, or are we destined to go the way of a Christmas tree on New Year's? And the author's dedication note in here is so funny, you guys. I read this to my husband and he was laughing out loud. It says, this book is dedicated to anyone who ever wanted to bang under a Christmas tree. I've heard really great things about this book. If you don't have it on your list already, put it on your list because it has really great reviews and people are raving about it. The next book I want to read for the holiday season, for Christmas, would have to be How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn. If you know anything about Megan Quinn, you know that all her books are very, very steamy, super funny, laugh out loud funny, and have great banter. Her writing is so fun. Every time I read one of her books, I'm having the best time of my life. And again, this is another book that is raved about, talked about highly. It just came out this year. The version I got was a Target version, so this one only has, I think, like 6 illustrations, because I've come to learn that Megan Quinn's books are always illustrated and they always come in these very chunky floppy paperbacks. We all love that. I don't know anything about this book. All I know is that it's a retelling of The Grinch, except make it spicy, steamy, funny, full of banter, full of holiday cheer, full of holiday romance and spirit. And there's also a candy cane scene, I've heard. This is probably the only dark romance I have on this list. I saw this book. I thought it was a really good palate cleanser for me for this month, because the rest of these books on this list are very thick, mostly thick romantasy books. So I figured a dark mafia romance would do the trick. As a matter of fact, my very first dark mafia romance, because I still haven't read The Predator. Don't come at me. I still haven't read that book yet. This is a standalone book in an interconnected world, I believe. It's like a series full of like 16 books, but they're all standalone, following different couples. And I don't think you have to read book 1 to be able to read this book. I think this is book 2 or something. I don't know. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure this is a set of a 16-book series written by different authors, and they're all standalones. I don't think you get any cameos of any other couples within the other books. So that made me really happy, because sometimes I just need a good standalone, okay? Marriage and Malice by Trisha Wolfe. I've heard Trisha Wolfe's writing is so good. You know what? This got my attention because I think it's an enemies to lovers, billionaire, marriage of convenience romance. And after reading Katharina Marrow's Windsor series, I was obsessed. This came up on my For You page and I just had to snatch it up. Plus, it's a short and sweet little book. And the cover, I've also heard this audiobook is to die for, so I can't wait to read it. Rapture, desire, need. The yearning of our passions is the reason we breathe. I've devoted my life to my pursuit of ballet, my escape from the dark underworld I was born into. As the daughter of a made man, I've accepted certain additions, but after I promoted to principal within a prestigious dance company, I'm so close to escaping that world. Until a devil with blood on his hands and an Irish curse inked into his skin tears into my world. Now passion holds a whole new sinister meaning. With ruination in his steel blue eyes and me in his crosshairs, Lucian Cross traps me in his gilded cage and uses me to deliver his retribution. What? That is all I'm gonna read. Oh my gosh. Lucian's passion is revenge. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading, just kidding. Forced to sign a marriage contract. My father traded my life to save his own. I'm bound to Lucian, owned by a monster who swore an oath of pain and suffering to my family. Lucian's passion is revenge. Every night he forces me to dance until my breaking point. He wants to condition me to loathe the very thing that once gave me hope. The closer we get to the wedding date, the more entangled I become in his dangerous, tempting world until I'm losing myself to him. His vow is my pain. My vow is not to fall for the enemy. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm so excited. Plus this friggin' cover. I can't wait. Next up, we have a book that I started at the end of November. I started the last day of November and I'm still working on it, and I freaking wish I would have vlogged this because my freaking reactions to this book are just so good. Quicksilver by Kelly Hart. I'm way further into the book than I'm showing here, but I'm finally reading this book and it's so good. It is so fast-paced, full of great, amazing banter. The mouth on Kingfisher, the mouth on this man, oh my god. Oh my god. And he's such an asshole too. But I love it. I love it. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say before I get carried away, but I tend to finish this book this month, obviously, and you'll just have to hear my thoughts by the end of the month. Don't come at me with this next one. I have felt such extreme FOMO because I haven't started this dang book, and I don't think December is a great month to start it, only because the first book is not Christmas themed, so I lost my window there. But here we are. I'm finally going to be reading The Serpent and the Wings of Night, hopefully, fingers crossed, by Carissa Broadbent. We all know what this book is about. I know that Carissa Broadbent just came out with a shorter or a novella, a Christmas themed novella, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong. I don't know. But I've heard really amazing things. If I'm not mistaken, this has vampires, trials, a romantasy between a human and a vampire. And I've heard it's really good, okay? I really need to read it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm holding myself accountable because I really need to read this book this month. So this next book, don't judge me, okay? This book has been on my list for quite some time. I've been needing to read it for quite some time. But the only reason why I haven't read it yet, at least this first book, which is my goal this month, is because I'm told I need to read a trilogy before I read this one. And to be honest with you, some of you are going to disagree with me, but I am just going to jump into this series first. And then if I want to, I will jump into the series prior to this. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I feel like the series before this one is only to get the backstory of the main male character in this book, and I don't think it's necessarily that important to read before this one. And also, after I read the Serpent and Dove series, only just to get to the Scarlet Veil, which is still sitting there, I'm only at 40% through that book right now, 40 or 60% through the book, because I got burnt out reading the Serpent and Dove just to read about a character in that series. I'm sorry, don't judge me, but those are just my feelings, okay? Therefore, if you don't know already what this next book is, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, I've heard this is the best, most magical fairy tale-esque book that you could read in December. So that's what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll get to the entire trilogy this month. I don't know. That's very ambitious, but I at least want to read the first book because I'm dying to read it. And again, the only reason why I haven't started it is because I was told that I need to read Caraval first in that trilogy. And honestly, with how many dang books I have on my TBR, I just want to read what I want to read unless it's very crucial and essential. You know, like I don't want to read a trilogy that happens before this book just to learn about Jax, which is the main character. You guys might come at me, but for me right now, life is too short to read trilogies that I'm not as interested in when I could start this one and it might not matter that much. Please, don't correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just gonna go into this. I know there's a lot of people out there that read Caraval first, like you should. And then there's a lot of people out there that read this trilogy first. So I'm going this route because I want to read this first before Caraval. Then I'll jump into Caraval and give it its respects. But for now, I want to read this. This next book I started reading, I think, last year or the beginning of this year, and I stopped reading it because I just wasn't in the mood for it. I was physically reading it with my eyeballs because the narrator at the time was not doing this book any justice. Until the other day that I just randomly picked it up and looked at the audiobook, not thinking that it was changed or revamped, but Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros is literally narrated by Teddy Hamilton, and I forget the female narrator's name, but Teddy Hamilton is narrating this book. And I don't know if he narrates Fourth Wing. I'm not going to reread Fourth Wing, but I know that I might reread this. This is how far I got into it the last time I picked it up. So I'm on page 206, not even halfway through. But I think because Teddy Hamilton narrates it, I think I'll make an exception and reread it and restart it. If you guys didn't know, there's also a graphic audio version of it where it's a full cast of characters. And I tried that. I tried it. But for the life of me, I could not even the dedication part, right? Because I try to listen to a sample of it. For the life of me, I could not even comprehend or understand or focus on what was being read to me because there was slashing swords in the background and too many characters whispering in the background talking all at once. And I said to myself, okay, this is not for me. I'm just not a graphic audiobook girly. For now, anyways. But needless to say, I do want to read this book by the end of the year, and I think I'm going to do it. I think it's time to finally do it because I know what's the third one called? Onyx? Something Onyx. That one comes out next year in January, and I've already pre-ordered it because I know I'm going to enjoy this. I have been enjoying this. It's going to be 10 times better with the audiobook, especially if Teddy Hamilton is narrating it. So, yay for me. This will be crossed off my list hopefully this month. I'm sorry if I haven't really gone through the synopsis of most of these books. I mean, come on, you guys. If you haven't heard of any of these books, aside from the Christmas ones that I did tell you what they were about, but the rest of these are so well known that if you haven't heard about them, you're probably living under a rock because they're all over the internet, all over social media. They are just well-known popular books. So I didn't feel like I had to like explain every single synopsis for you. And I also wanted to make this video short and sweet. The last book on this list is very ambitious for me because it's a very chunky book. I have not heard anything about it, and I don't think it's wintry themed or it's a book that you necessarily read in the winter or in December. But when I was showing this on my Instagram the other day, it just sounded so dang intriguing. It almost sounds like a dark fantasy, maybe some dark fairy tale themes. I don't know. I don't know what this book is about, but I do know that I want to get to it this month. The Courting of Bristol, Keats by Mary E. Pearson. First of all, this is the owl crate cover, and it's just so freaking stunning. And what I can tell about the end papers of this book is that it looks like an enemies to lovers. Because look at that. Doesn't that look like enemies to lovers to you? I don't know. We will find out. I will read you the synopsis of it. Dangerous fate, dark secrets, addictive romance. After losing both their parents, Bristol Keats and her sisters struggle to stay afloat in their small, quiet town of Keats. When Bristol begins to receive letters from an aunt she's never heard of who promises she can help, she reluctantly agrees to meet and discovers that everything she thought she knew about her family is a lie. Her father might even still be alive, not killed, but kidnapped by terrifying creatures and taken to a whole other realm, the one he is from. Desperate to save her father and find the truth, Bristol journeys to a land of gods and fae and monsters. Pulled into a dangerous world of magic and intrigue, she makes a deadly bargain with the fae leader, Tegan. But what she doesn't know is that he's the one who drove her parents to live a life on the run, and he is just as determined as she is to find her father dead or alive. Enemies to lovers, okay? Enemies to lovers! I'm excited. I can't wait. So there you have it. Those are all the books that I plan on reading in December. Wish me luck, because I really do want to get to all the fantasy books on this stack because they have been just on my mind the entire year. I have just not picked them up. This is the month where I'm going to do so. So that's it. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will catch you on my next one. Bye!